Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Coffee cheers. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Time over where I am in Virginia. And I am here getting ready to receive Jen for. Oh, there she is. Hold on. Let me bring you in. Instagram is nice with us today. Jen, I'm sending you the invitation to join. Accept. Hi!
Hello!
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Your hair is always like just spectacular.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we let the natural curl come out for a little while to play, so.
Play. That's one of my words of the year. It's like I'm now just doing things that feel fun and they feel playful because I took life way too serious for too long.
Yes,
So play is a good thing.
it's so true. And then you know what? You're done and you just move on to the next thing. It's
All
no
right,
big
the next
deal, and
thing.
we're not thinking about it too much.
Whatever is fun. Well, thank you so much for being here today and for spending some time with me to talk about
Yes.
abundance.
Woohoo.
Yes. So, Jen, and hi everybody that is here. Some of you received our invitation via email. Some of you maybe saw the story in my Facebook or Jen's Facebook, or maybe you just don't know why you're here, but that's okay. Welcome. It's all good. Nothing
Yes.
happens by accident anyway. So welcome.
Come hang
We
out.
right. We're talking about abundance, prosperity, and also we are going to be talking about our next event, which is the Wealth and Witchery Summit that is coming on September 4th, 5th, and 6th, where we have over 20 teachers that are going to be sharing practices about abundance. But Jen, I have a few
Yes.
questions for you. So I'm going to
Okay.
read the questions. Let's do it.
Let's
Let's do it.
go.
Right. So the first question that I have here is, tell us about a time in your life, an experience where you had to resource or grab abundance magic because you were in such a situation, a prosperity situation that was a difficult one, that you had nothing else. Your last resource was abundance magic, and you were like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do magic, and I'm gonna change my reality because I'm desperate. Tell us about it.
Okay. So, of course, there's many of those situations, but I'll kind of go way back to little Jen, and the first time that I actually consciously used magic to try to bring abundance into my life. So, I was homeless at 14. And that was, I kind of lived with friends and their families and until they got tired of it, and then off I went. So there was really, I was working full time as a waitress, which you can't do these days at 14.
Right.
But, it wasn't enough. I was going to school. Ooh, hold on. I like shifted. I couldn't bring my favorite stand, so he had to rig it up. You know how that goes. And I knew that I needed to really find a stable place to stay. I just needed things to fall into place. I wanted to go into nursing school. I was graduating high school early, so I was doubling up on my courses also during all of this time. And really, it was, the moon was kind of my first love. And I knew, from what I was able to get from the book in the library, and, I would copy everything down because, there was like 3 metaphysical books in the library and it took like
Right.
6 months to get them. So I remembered, oh yeah, I wrote something down about the new moon, and I'm like, okay, well, it's almost the new moon time. Let me see if I can try to get myself, help to get myself into nursing school, and the testing went well and all of that. So that is really the first spell that I did. And it was, clunky at best, of course. But, candles are another love of mine. So I just wrote on the candle, like getting into nursing school, finding somewhere that was stable and all of that. I didn't really know if it was going to work or not. I, was really, really hoping. So I just poured everything into this tiny little spell. And it wound up happening. And that was kind of my first, like, holy shit, this works. So yeah, so that was, that was kind of what I wound up doing. So I winded up graduating right before I was 16 actually, and I went to nursing school right from there.
Okay, I know that you just share something about magic and abundance, but I have to share that that is also such just an amazing story of resilience.
Thank you.
And I see, wow, I'm like speechless because those are big challenges for somebody at 14.
Yeah,
Ooh.
no, it's for sure. And I have four boys, and they're all past 14 now, but when they were that age, I'm just like, what? Like, I don't think you realize it until you're a parent and you have a 14-year-old and you're like, how the hell did I even do that? Like,
Yeah.
what? But when when you have no choice, you do what you got to do,
When
right?
you have no choice, when you do what you gotta do. I started living alone at 15 and a half. So I'm this story hit
Yeah.
really
So, yes, you
so
get
much
it.
directly to my heart. Yeah, and it's just I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget about it, but I forgot about it. Like, is the kind of thing that you
Yeah.
do what you gotta do, and you gotta keep moving, and you keep going,
Right.
and you forget.
No, it is. You do forget. You don't really like think back on it. And then our oldest, we had when I was almost 17, he was 19, and we're still together. And so then a couple years after, then I have a baby there. So and now my youngest is 19, and I'm like, your dad had a baby at this age. He's like, oh my god, like, and he's such a free. He's so bougie. Like, he travels with his friends. He just spent a month in Europe, and last year he was in Spain for like 3 weeks, and I'm just sitting here like, what? But you do it so that they can. So there is that too.
Exactly,
It's like
exactly,
extended
just like that.
abundance.
Exactly, exactly. But you know what? One of the things that we're actually going to talk about in the summit, which we're starting to tap into right now, it's we change the generational trauma of the wounds of money that we carry when
Mm-hmm.
we do the work than
Yeah.
us doing the work, which is not fun.
No, of course not.
But when we do the work, then our children or whoever we are going to be ancestors of, right? Whether it's by blood or by love, by land, by culture, we also change their life
Mm-hmm.
directly or indirectly by us walking the path of choosing to change our lives. This is a choice, right? So
Right.
by choosing to
Mm-hmm.
change our lives, and we're also having an impact in the younger generation. So that's one of the
Right.
beautiful things about magic, that past, present, future, multiple dimensions. Even doing our own work on the wounds of abundance, we're also changing the wounds of our parents
Yes.
and grandparents, grandparents. Isn't that beautiful?
Right. No. And it is so true because even with I don't really have contact with my family, but even with my husband's family, like his parents, they're used to that kind of lack, and that, what I mean, and they have everything that they need, but for them to go above and beyond and like just get that thing because they want it, like they still won't do it, and we're feeling like, oh, Dad, why don't you just get it? No, 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 it's just, I'm like, but who cares? You could do it. You're
Yeah.
able to do it. Just do it, and I know that my kids are not like that. They're like, we're doing it. We want to live. We want to have all the, but you do definitely see that, and you see how it shifts and changes as you go along, like you just said. And that alone is magic.
That alone is magic. That alone is magic. And also, I think with our own life experiences, we also change the container of how much abundance we can hold.
Mm-hmm.
And they're minimal, acceptable. And I know I don't say this from a privileged level, but I'm saying it more from a gratitude perspective and neuroplasticity perspective, is that they're minimal, acceptable of what they believe is possible. It's
Right.
very different than our own possibilities from where we grew up at, the circumstances that we had at,
Mm-hmm.
and the place from.
Right. Right, right. And I think it also comes to giving yourself permission to allow that abundance to come in, because as magical practitioners, just when we're working with, other people, we just, how many times, like even in a tarot reading, like you give that person permission to, yeah, you can feel like that. Yes, you can do that. And I think we just get so conditioned of the can'ts, that we don't realize, like, wait a minute, we can change that. We can just be like, yeah, we can. And there you go.
Yeah. It's always the possibility of taking a choice, making a choice and taking a decision.
Right.
And not easy all the time, but
no,
one step at a time. One step at a time, you do
that's
it.
it. Yeah, just keep swimming, right?
Exactly. I just like punches. I just say, okay, I'm just gonna put Vaseline so the punches go through.
Yeah, that's it. Just keep going.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, thank you for
it.
sharing that story. It definitely is resilience, and it's also for the people that is listening to us right now live, or that they will listen to the recording. They also can see that it doesn't matter what's our original story. We change our reality.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you
Right.
were home, or you were living by yourself at 15, or you didn't have money for a plate of food, life can change. It doesn't matter. And sometimes, like some of my work is really removing those wounds of financial despair that we can get in through, but also reminding people, yes, there are systemic issues. It is true. Yes, there is racism. It is true. Yes, there is, this is a patriarchal world. Yes, it is true. But even with that, despite the circumstances, we have the power within to generate abundance, generate prosperity, to call upon the light that is right, to grab into, right? Just
right. No, it is. It's all those things, absolutely. And I think too, it's just showing people that thinking out of the box, and because again, like I just feel like we're so conditioned to be on this like straight and narrow, like this is how you're supposed to do it. I am so outside of that because I did everything opposite of what the normal is, that, even just reminding people, you know what, yeah, you're used to doing it this way, but maybe if you try something different. And also the fact of, you can't just light a candle, do a reading or whatever and expect it to come to you. And that just action and taking action, even the smallest action, it's that ripple in the pond effect, it's just keep trying stuff and keep going. And I think that's really an important part of it too.
Absolutely. And use whatever resources you have, but always add. So now where you are, it's not in the questions that I gave you, but I'm going to go deeper. If that's okay with you.
Let's go. I'm ready.
That's where we learn the diva. So now where you are in life, right? Like a different story from where you were building your future at 14 to where you are now. What are now your favorite practices of abundance? The ones that allow you to stay in the frequency of prosperity and sharing your gifts with the world and creating your beautiful tarot sets. Like, what are now your favorite tools that you use?
Really the biggest is gratitude. Is really practicing gratitude, and not even just to myself. Letting people in my life that have helped me, let them know that they helped me, just knowing people like, I'm so happy to meet you. I'm so happy to know you. I'm so happy, to get a silly tag, it's just really appreciating the little things that come through and reminding other people to appreciate the little things. And, there is, obviously tarot is a big thing for me. So I'm always pulling tarot, and the candles is, it's like, I don't know, like after a while, we just kind of do a little bit of everything. So it's just kind of whatever pops up at the moment. Like, I'm going to do a tea leaf reading today. Oh no, I'm going to do this. But I think, it really does come down to that self-work. And I think making sure to keep yourself in check is really important as well. And, by using your divination, by using your magic, it does keep you in check.
Yeah.
It lets you know, like, oh, hey, you can simmer down a little there, Jen. It's like, oh, shit, okay. And I think that's a big part for me.
Gratitude, and staying in check. And I think one of the things that you're saying right now that is also really important, that connects really to the summit, is we have 20 different practitioners with 20 different sets of tools with 20 different systems. When you are in the light of magic, you want to know many different tools to put in your toolkit. So depending on the life circumstances that you're going through, you can go into your box, open the box, and this day I use a candle. This day I use my tarot. This day I use an oil. This day I use a sigil. This day I use a prayer. This day I use a mantra, whatever it is that you practice to connect to a higher power, whatever that is, God, Goddess, Source. And that is beautiful. It's important to always remember, people, there is not just one way. There is many ways.
So many.
Exactly, right? Understanding the paths.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Right. No, it is a good thing. And I think also, I love the idea of the summit too, because it's just, again, like you said, there's 20 different systems, that's 20 different perspectives. And it's like a charcuterie board of wealth witchery, like you're like, I'm going to take some of this, I'm going to take some of that. And you're creating your own abundant practice by tapping in to all of these different practitioners.
Charcuterie board of wealth practices. I'm gonna change all of my.
I usually relate everything to food. So I can't help it.
Why not? One very dear friend of mine, she always says that she needs 2 lives. She needs one life to live and one life to eat, because she loves it.
I like your friend. I don't even know who it is, but I'm right there with her. I don't even care. It's a giraffe. I'm right there.
Yes, but I also love that you're bringing gratitude back into the conversation, not back, but like into the conversation, because it is so important. And at least in my own journey, sometimes we forget and we forget to the things that maybe they were just a big deal before, and now they are so ingrained in our every day that we forget to say thank you. Yesterday, I went with another friend. I have a friend from California that was visiting the area. We went for tea, and in front of the tea place, there was this beautiful river with boats, and we had tea, and then we went outside, and we were in front of the river. And she said, I remember when this was my prayer. I remember when 20 years ago, I wanted to be able to sit down and see something like this. But 20 years ago, I didn't even have the capacity to receive it. She said that.
Yes. No, and that's really such a big part of it too, is just being open to receive. Because it's there, we just have to let it happen.
We just have to
let it happen. It's not always going to happen the way we want it to. And I think that's another thing that's really important, is when people are doing this, it doesn't always happen the way we want it to, but the end is always the same, but the path may be a little different. And that's okay.
Yeah, I always tell people, you can say like this, or even better, allow the universe and so surprise you with even better, because we may not have the capability to see what will that better look like, but we are open to it, then we can receive. Awesome.
Right. Yeah. No, I do the same thing. I'm always like that, or something better, that I do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So tell us about your class in the summit. Where are you going to be teaching in the summit?
So I am teaching how to use candle magic for prosperity and abundance. So it's kind of like a quick little candle mini course, tells you the types of candles. I give you lists of herbs to use. We actually are going to do a candle abundance spell together, so you can kind of see my process and how I do it. And, I even let the candle do its thing, and I came back on later and explained how to read the candle wax and all of that good stuff. So I'm really excited for everybody to check it out and all of that. And just to how to bring more tools into your practice.
Yeah, more tools in the toolbox. And so for the ones who have never been familiarized with the summits that we have, so we organize summits usually every quarter. Depending on how crazy our team feels. Sometimes we take a little too much, and sometimes not too much. We have a lot of summits the rest of the year. But the way that our summits work is that you can have a free ticket, which allows you for 48 hours of access to the recordings as well as the live presentations. Or you can choose to upgrade for $77 when you register. And the $77 give you the ability to keep the recordings unlimited. There's no time limit. It also gives you a podcast style access to the classes. So you can listen into a podcast. You can access it through your iPhone, through whatever operational system, anywhere that you like to listen to podcasts, we give you that. And then it also comes with over $1,000 on bonuses, which we're going to touch in a second. But the reason why we do this, we throw a lot of free events during the year to help as many people as possible to remember about their magic, and in this case, to bring back wealth into their lives or make it even bigger. And having an all access pass ticket allows us to continue to do free events as well as pay or speakers. We believe in fair compensation for everybody's work and the time that is spent on anything. It's one of the laws of abundance. In order to create abundance, you have to spread the love, right?
That's right.
Exactly, right? So for anybody that is going to choose the all access pass ticket and give themselves the permission to receive all those tools, you're also going to get a very special bonus from Jen. So tell us about your bonus.
Yes, I'm actually really excited about it. So it's a PDF booklet. It's about 35 pages of candle information. I also share all of the color, different colors for magic, the herbs, oils, that I did touch on in the class, and then also a couple of different spells that you can use using candles. And then another one that I really love is abundance rice. So I have a recipe on abundance rice and how to use it, because you can use it with your candle magic as well. So it's just jam-packed with so much good stuff. I'm super excited about it.
I actually love creating salads and creating rices with different colors, because they have such a beautiful frequency, right? And rice. And so for us, every meal that we have has rice. So that represents abundance.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Box of rice, you have enough money.
Right. And it's always rice involved.
Well, that is really great. So I see that we have some people joining. If anybody has any questions, just drop the questions in the comments. I see someone said the magic only works if you do. Yeah, absolutely. Any questions, just drop them here and we're gonna come and see the questions. And then somebody saying very interesting. Yes, that's the thing, right? Listening to different perspectives allows us to see different tools, different tricks, different paths, and mistakes that we have made, because we made so many.
Oh, so many. Yes, learning experiences, that's it. But it is so interesting. Like, even still, I mean, I've been reading tarot and doing all this stuff since I was 14, I mean, now that I'm only like 25, it's not that long, Kidding. But I still love getting readings and doing magic and learning from other people, because it's always so interesting to me what their process is. So, when you have an event like this, like, it's so easy, because it's like all done for you. It's in one spot. There you go. You can get the bonus and get everybody's bonus. I mean, that's really going to take you a while to get through. Like, all of that, like, you basically it's like your own abundant, like, video book of shadows almost, with all these bonuses. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And after one of the bonuses, like my bonus is I'm adding a Telegram container. So we are going to have a group coaching group coaching space where we're going to be working through or abundance shadows, as well as reframing our experiences and circumstances, so that we focus on the lessons that they brought us and they stop slowing us down, but they become a space to just project to the future in a good space. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Love that. Yeah.
One of my bonuses. So another thing that we have for the ones that are choosing to upgrade to their all access pass is that we also have a panel. And the panel is exclusive to the all access pass attendees. And in this panel, we have 3 different speakers that are going to join us on the panel. You being one of them, which I'm so excited about it. And what happens, what happens in the panel is that we have our speakers, and the all access pass attendees get to have a space, get to have a platform to ask real-time questions into some of your favorite practitioners. And we do a panel every time that we do a summit. And it just get juicy. They get really good.
No, I'm excited about it. Yeah, for sure. I'm excited.
So is there anything else that you would like to share about your practices of abundance and your journey that could help everybody that is listening to us live or gets to listen?
Yeah. I do see a question on there that is asking what the white rice recipe
Oh,
is. It's abundance rice, and if you buy the bonus, you'll get the full recipe. So it's to use. It's a magical tool to use for, you know, your candle magic or whatever you want to do with it. So that's a secret bonus. You got to get the all access pass. Hint, hint. Yeah, I mean, I think I think right now too that abundance and all of these things, they're such hot words. And a lot of, there's a lot of people talking about it in a lot of different ways. And there's also a lot of people talking about it in ways that are basically like, oh, just, do a mantra every day and you'll be abundant. Or if you see this number, you're abundant. It's like, I think it's realizing too that there is work involved, and I think we're always doing work, right? Always. And with abundance, the shadow work, you can't just do it for a week and it's totally gone. It just clears stuff out for more stuff to pop up. So it's definitely like with abundance, it's just that work. Just keep doing the work, because when you work on it and you keep taking those action steps, it's opening you up to more abundance. And that's something that I always try to keep in mind, especially when maybe things didn't go my way and you just want to be like, freaking whatever, I'm done. Just remember that, okay, take your time to regroup, and it all doesn't have to happen at once. And I think that's, especially when people are really new, they want to do everything all at once. And that is almost like, you're stuffing a whole bunch of things in, and it's like, it just gets all clogged up. Excuse me. So it just take your time and just go to what really resonates, because that's what I do. Again, it's just going with that flow. And that seems to really work for me.
yeah. Yeah. Doing incremental upgrades on our work is steady wins the race. Because when we want to do everything at once,
Yes.
I practice a lot of energy healing. And in the healing world, we call it blowing our channels.
Yep.
When we're doing too much at the same time, is going to blow our energy channels or flows of light channels, and is going to kick ass. And it's going to take you a couple of months to recover from.
That's right. Right. Like just going outside for 5 minutes of grounding isn't going to fix that. And I do crystal healing and energy healing too. And it is like, you just, sometimes you want to do so much, but you have to realize that your body is connected, and that has, it's a whole body system thing. So it's just, take your time, get it right, learn what you need to learn about yourself and how abundance works for you, how that flow works for you. And I think by doing that, you're going to be successful.
Absolutely. So Jeanette is saying here, I love hearing doing work opens you up for more abundance. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes. Cleaning your house can also open room. Yep, that's very true.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
one of my favorite things to do ever, but it is true. Like when you declutter something, you do feel better. And that's something I have to convince myself. Like, yes, I'll feel better after I do this. I mean, it might take me a minute, but I'll do it.
Yes, but in the meantime, I hate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just be growling the whole time. But then after, I'm like, oh, I do feel better. So true.
I see cross joining on, hey, yay, I'll see you in a while. From Oregon Woodwitch. Is yeah, I think it is one of our speakers actually from some of the many summers. But yeah, definitely do the work, be willing to do the work, let go of expectations, but have clear plans and concise strategies for what you want to do, because it makes a difference.
Yeah.
So I don't know what time is it, but I'm like enjoying our conversation so much. So have you had any circumstances? This is also not on the questions. Have you had any circumstances of like wrong manifestation happening?
Yes. And that is, and you kind of touched on that a little bit too, about being clear on your intention. And I do speak of that a lot when on my candle class. Because that is like, I was doing an abundance spell with candles, and I really wasn't clear enough in what I wanted. So what I got was what I wanted, but not what I wanted. And it actually wound up causing a little bit more issue than I really was hoping for. So that was like one of those things, like after the fact, you're always thinking back because, hindsight's 2020 and all that fun stuff. And I'm like, well, what did I do? Just even not even the action steps, not even, I'm like, what did I do in this spell? Because I just, intuitively, like my brain just going spell, like I was like, oh, okay, I see. Like my intention definitely wasn't what it should have been. So that is something that was, kind of that reminder. And it happens, it doesn't matter how long you're practicing. Sometimes you are kind of rushing, you're caught and you're like, I gotta leave, I gotta do this, try to whip something up. And then you're like, oh shit, what did I do? I mean, it's usually more inconvenient stuff than anything. It's not like, your arms are going to fall off or something. It's just more of like, oh, now there's all these delays, or, there's like it almost is like you give yourself a Mercury retrograde. It's like, it is like you accidentally do that and you're like, oh no. But again, as you do that and as you go to do the next thing, and it's that experience and learning, like, oh yeah, last time I wasn't really clear, let me sit again with this intention, let me not rush it, and take the time to make sure it's really what I want.
Learning the lesson, knowing why we didn't pay attention so that we don't do it again. It's also a pivot point, because the more we are working with reclaiming our power, embracing our magic, the more weight or words and actions have. There is with power comes great responsibility. Like
that's right. Yep. So true.
I honestly, it may have been I don't remember the exact year, but I think it may have been 2012. So it's a way back. I went to Malaysia to study feng shui with Lillian too. That was one of the things I manifested. I did all this like manifestation and abundance work. So that everything worked in a way that I could go, and it did. It took me a few years to manifest it, but it happened. Yeah. It finally happened.
That's awesome.
And there, one of the things that my feng shui teacher said was, you really need to have a water feature in front of your house, a water fountain, flowing water. You want to be sure that this is bringing abundance. She was explaining all the feng shui perspective of it. So I came back from Malaysia, all jet lag and tired, and I say, universe, I go into like online to find a water fountain, and the ones that I like were kind of pricey. I had to spend a ton of money going to Malaysia, and I say, universe, please really send me some water. I want to have a water fountain in front of my house. I really want flowing water.
Oh no! Oh no! What happened? I just I was like, oh shit! What happened?
Oh my god!
What did you do?
Wake up 15 hours later because I was jet lag, or 8 hours later. Who knows? I was exhausted. Right. A water pipe broke right in front of my house.
Flowing water. There you have it.
Fountain, because the water pipe was like exponentially.
It's like majestically like flowing for you.
In a water flow, but it also flowed in my basement. Which cost me like,
right. But it is. It's just like those things, and then you're like, oh, and it's like automatically you're like, wait, what were my words? And like, oh, those were my words. Okay.
How can you complain, right? How can you complain from the gift? You asked for the gift. You really
did, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Janetti say, you go, your water flow. Yes, I did.
She did.
With girl and my husband and I, when we're asking for something, we're very specific. Very
specific. It is. No, you learn. And sometimes you do need to learn. Like you do need that lesson. And we're stubborn, so sometimes we need it in a big way. Sometimes it's quick little easy things, but sometimes I'm stubborn. Like that's gonna happen. So it's that sounds like something that would happen to me.
Definitely great. $5,000 floating in my basement. That's what it cost me. I was like, yep, the water fountain was like $200. Probably would be much better to spend $200 in the damn water fountain.
Right, I know. Those ones on Amazon didn't seem so expensive at that point.
Right, exactly. $5,000, definitely very different. yeah, I had my floating. But it also was a lesson. It taught me back in 2012 that I had to be very careful, more conscious about how to manifest things, how to word things.
Right.
I think about, do I really want it or I don't want it? Because in reality, later in life, when I started practicing manifestation more conscious, I also realized that the water is just a symbol. You don't need to go and spend $200 in a water fountain. You can also create that energy with a glass of water. It doesn't have to be a floated basement or a water fountain. It can just be calling upon the spirit of water to come and bring you flow.
Exactly. So true. It is. It's so true. And our words are power and our words are magic. And I think that's really important. And even if we're somewhere and we don't have all the tools, we don't have any resources, we still have ourselves. And that is magic too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, your energy.
Yes.
It's a pleasure. I'm looking forward.
I know. Finally, we got to talk. I'm so happy.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to hopefully find an in-person conference that we're going to get to be together. What are your plans for conferences, in-person conferences next year? Do you have any in the schedule yet?
I don't have anything in the schedule yet. I was kind of shifting perspective on some of the conferences I was attending. So I'm kind of was taking a little time for the next couple months to kind of decide which way I wanted to go with it. So
yeah, however you decide, if you choose to do some in-person conferences, I would love to meet you in person. Where are you looking?
Well, that's kind of a tricky question. So right now I'm in Florida. So I have a house in, I am a little bit in Florida, mostly in New York, and a little bit in Massachusetts. So I'm kind of all over. But I definitely, next year I do plan on going to Mystic South. The plague got me this year, so unfortunately I couldn't go. And whatever other. I'm looking more at like witchy type conferences. So that's why even when this was, I was like, yes. So definitely, but I'll be around. I'll be sure to let you know.
Yeah. And have you ever been in Sacred Space?
No, I haven't gone to that one yet. Yeah, I haven't gone to that one. And that's coming up, isn't it?
It's going to be in March 2024.
Oh, it's March. Okay,
March,
yeah.
And it's close to New York-ish. It's kind of close. There's a train from New York. So check out the information. I can email it to you. It's a wonderful conference. I had the pleasure to be there.
Yeah, I've seen it popping around and stuff. So I did see that one. So yeah, I'll have to look at that one. But that's like, I was giving myself until September, and then in September I was gonna figure it all out.
It's also, I don't know if people know that it takes a toll. Like doing these events is beautiful. We get to meet in person with the people that we email with and message with, but it takes a toll. It takes time to record.
It does. And the last 2-3 years, I was doing a conference, in-person conference, every couple of months. So this year, I did a couple in the beginning of the year, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna chill on everything until the fall, and then kind of regroup, because it's a lot of all the things, especially if you're presenting. It's creating all of that and getting everything there, getting yourself there, and all of that. So I mean, as wonderful as they do. It was just definitely time for a little breather. Plus, I had just been writing and stuff like that, so I want to make sure that doesn't get behind.
Right, and also I think one of the things that we learn right before we end our awesome conversation, but like before that, one of the things that we learned that is important to whoever's listening to this, either live or recorded, is that in our practices of abundance, priority is self-care. We are never
exactly
sustaining the spells, the rituals, the practices if we are completely depleted.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that because you have major FOMO. Well, like I miss, Mystic South, I had no choice, but there are a couple ones coming up that I really want, but it's like you do sometimes have to kind of parent yourself in that.
Yeah, you have to choose. You have to say here no. Sometimes we have to step back like you're doing in order to build the energy reservoir again, so that we can go back of service from the best perspective instead of the depleted perspective. We have to take all these decisions. So whoever is listening to us, please know that you are the priority. Your self-care is your priority. Saying yes to only what makes sense to say yes, and say no to the things that you need to say no, that you know at a soul level that you need to say no, that you don't get so depleted. Right. Everything else in your life starts getting affected because there's nothing else to give because you're empty.
That's right. And you know what? All that stuff's going to be there.
Yeah.
After you replenish, everything will still be there.
Yeah, bigger and better. We come back to it, right?
That's right. Very
awesome.
True.
Thank you so much for everybody that joined us today. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, everybody.
And I'll see you all soon, and I'll see you in the panel before. Who says that? Big Ace cups of energy. Fill your cup first. You can pour from an empty cup.
Yes. So true. So true. All right. Yeah. Yay. Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks, everybody.
I forgot about the summit. I'm having such fun. Profile, the links are there. Follow our social media, check our newsletters. You're going to see the links for the summit. Your choice if you want a free ticket, 48 hours of access, or actually give yourself permission to enjoy all the goodies. You're worth it. $77, over $1,000. Bye.
Perfect. Bye, everyone.